It is time for children to go to indoctrination, so I have to watch the road to make sure that all these kids make it to their brainwashing destination safe and sound. But anyway, my God. How are we feeling? I'm feeling righteous. I'm feeling pretty righteous. We still got like a week or so of this retrograde nonsense on the heavy. Um, and we still have some time accepting Mars and Cancer. So, it's just, this is just that kind of season, right? This has probably been, like, I don't think I've ever in my life had such a difficult period of time around my birthday. Usually around my birthday, things are pretty lit. Um, but not so much. And I don't mean lit like, oh man, look at the party, right? Like, I'm not the popular guy. I am fun to be around, but I have to, people have to be interested in me being around. And that just doesn't happen. it's largely of my doing, because I end up not liking people. Like, I really loved because I love all the work of the guy who did In Shadow and Kingdom, and he did The Forest King for an anthology movie. And I know what it's like to be that kid, Forest King, and I am the product of not giving up my fucking sword. Yeah, no, it's just like, I never gave up my things, right? Meaning I lost the game. I went out there and the robot said smile, and I didn't think there was something to smile about, so I chose not to. Right? It's like me saying, no, you can't, like, you're asking me to live a lie if you're asking me to smile, right? It's just like, that's what's really neat about the Forest King. It's basically, it's non-verbal deceit. It's like, how do you lie to somebody through silent language? And our facial expressions, our body posture, is all part of that, right? We had a handful of very, very well trained body language professionals that decided to do their own independent productions, especially from a more activist point of view, to be blatantly on their bias, but also to be completely honest with it. Probably interested in dissenting opinions to see if their analysis of things is wrong, right? Because this person would go and look at politics. I can't remember her damn name now. It's a chick. And it would be like she'd be watching the way Trump moves his hands. She'd be watching the way, Mitch McConnell nods his head, right? All this stuff. And she would put out these analysis videos and kind of tell you, here's what their nervous system is telling you, right? Right? And so she's pointing out these are all little tells, the manner in which you are, right? Because if you are self-aware, if you have self-awareness, like actors for their posture have self-awareness in the nonverbal. They understand a thing or two about, the way you contort yourself, right? And so people are trained you know, for public performance this way. And so if you're trained for public performance this way, it's going to come through, and it can be weaponized as a tool of manipulation, right? There's to influence, and then there's to manipulate, which is to influence by deceit, right? And that's my definition, because I'm not sure if manipulate has to be influenced by deceit, but I'm just giving you the context by which I'm using it in lieu of a better word. So one of the things I'm thinking about is that I'm looking at what people are saying is going to be the extent of what we're going to be dealing with these tariffs. Now, from everything that I've heard thus far, as not an economist guy who hasn't looked at the precise numbers, but the numbers from what I'm told are exceedingly fair. Hey, what's up? Zero Morales. What's good, man? Listen. Why don't you direct message me sometime today, and I'll get to you when I sneak around the corner at work. Which I mean, you can email me, zerolath@yahoo.com, or grab one of my social medias, which I guess I don't post those all that often. I mean, just because for the most part, you know, it's just like the main reason I like people hitting me up via email is because that's where I take business seriously. Like if somebody wants a reading, right? So you can email me. Anyway, good to see you. So with these tariffs, as far as from nation to nation circumstances are concerned, I mean, like, this is one of those things where in my love-hate relationship for Trump, it's just like, I want to take the risk of agreeing with this instance of this context of what I think I know about these tariffs, right? Because I don't know what it's going to mean for the price of oil yet, but I don't believe that American essential foods are going to be tremendously impacted. And I just hope that, well, actually, yeah, like, things coming in, the problem is that, like, a lot of people may want some foods types that come from, say, European sources, because the nutritional standards in Europe are more agreeable. Like, I enjoy what they don't and what they do put in their food in a lot of things I've seen in Europe. You know, just like I had the Finnish girlfriend for a little while, and she liked how much I was trying to have excellent nutrition, right? And she was a good cook. Anyway. So there's going to be this long haul where we're going to see some prices for things go up, and some items that are typically imported run out on the shelves or something to this effect, right? These tariffs just started, so I'd imagine it'll take about a week, right? So what was it, April 2nd? Quote, April 2nd. It's the 8th now. So, you know, we'll see how things look by Friday, right? These tariffs will also tell us something about gasoline, right? Everybody keeps talking about this whole bit with oil and how we're doing all this oil importing and yada, yada, yada. I have a feeling that we are a little bit more domestic in our oil as a price standard under Trump policy than we think, including things prior established in his 44th. And so I think that if we're not using that much domestic oil, it's because we're holding back, and we've had excuses for perhaps these last 10 years or something like that on our holding, even under Trump. And so perhaps under these circumstances, he really opens it up, especially the infamous Alaskan pipeline, right? Because we're supposed to have the, quote, Alaskan pipeline, and we're supposed to use that under certain emergency circumstances. And, you know, some would even have suspected, especially if you're a purveyor of abiotic oil, like the Russians were and succeeded because of, right? That oil wells will replenish themselves over time, right? I don't believe that we can actually use up water. We can use up potable water, but I don't think we can actually use up water. I think if the water gets fucking, you know, like, where's it going to go? Think like an alchemist. You can't just destroy water. You can't destroy anything on a fucking elemental level, right? Unless you grab the individual atom and split it. And we all know how that goes. Oh boy, what's going on here? Oh boy, there's some traffic. This traffic might be just right here, though. I shouldn't be that late for work. Might have been a major accident. It's got a couple of those help trucks. I don't know if you've got help trucks in your part of the country if you're an American listening in. But they're a roadside service system in the American Northeast. All right. Oh yeah, somebody had a gnarly little accident of some sort. Looks like they hit the rail for some reason. They probably were going to get hit by, I would say somebody was going to hit them, so they swerved to avoid getting hit, and they hit the rail. And the other guy didn't actually make contact with his vehicle, and therefore is not actually factually involved. Because that kind of thing happens, right? So anyway. Yeah. So, we'll be going through a time of a little bit of pain. You know, if I have to appreciate things, right? Like this would be, I mean, like, this is a pretty universal, like, a lot of people on the right and a lot of, you know, more centric persons or just fiscally conservative persons, we're all in favor of a rational and reasonable, systematic, stepping approach to having a fair trade system, which you know, and mind you, I allegedly we're dangling a free trade like carrot over here, and it's like the tariffs of the stick, right? And then it's the carrot is not like a trick though, right? You will get the carrot, right? The carrot's not going to hurt you. Like, the carrot is a good deal. It's supposed to be a good deal on the prima facie economic numbers. That's the idea. And I think that it's better to do this because we can learn from its failure if it fails. If it succeeds, it's great, but because we actually tried it, we will learn so much from its failure. Especially if as much care that seems to have gone into it as it has, you know, is, you know, left to play out, because I'd have to imagine if you're going to make this level of bold move, you know, and you know that that whatever benefit for you is only wrapped up in the national benefit, right? You know, like, if Donald Trump wants to protect his overseas interests, then he would make a personally selfish tariff on a country that's important to the Trump corporation's bottom line, so his kids can be fat and happy, all House Harkonnen style, right? Because that's what we're meant. That's the projection on you know, whoever means to be projecting it authentically or not, is that, you know, the Trump family is a foundational kind of House Harkonnen from Dune archetype. Also a sense of prophecy fulfilled, right? Because, you know, your Baron Harkonnen's going to be Mr. Got Fat when he was older, bloviating rich guy who is industry and technology to the T, and a nasty, threatening force behind his iron will. Yada, yada, yada. And the crazy thing is that you can apply all that to the good guy if you wanted to. If, and the bar is so fucking low, if Marvel Disney does Doomsday well, especially if they're following the rationale of whatever version of Tony Stark becomes Victor Von Doom. You will get this idea, right? Doom is ultimately a benevolent dictator. They've already hinted at this because they got Namor. Namor is the same fucking shit. He's kind of a villain, but it's largely out of the interests of his own people, right? Because, you know, his people are a little bit different, a little bit more complicated. His people aren't necessarily of a heroic spirit, and Namor himself is not personally a bad person, right? This is the depiction in the MCU of Namor, right? You could go for a more villainous version of Namor. I liked Namor. I liked both Black Panther. I liked them. Sue me. Fucking sue me. Razor Fist? Come on, Razor Fist. Fucking duke it out. Shout out, right? Breathe, motherfucker. Ooh, oxygen. Good prana, good for the mind. So my point is that if gasoline prices fucking stabilize through these tariffs, I'll be fucking impressed. If we don't see a gas increase except for imported gas, like I would expect like Citgo gas maybe to go up. If Venezuela's not playing ball, then you could probably see a gas hike at Citgo, right? But we'll see what's good. I mean, I have not heard a tremendous amount of reports of worsening circumstances when it comes to oil extraction practices like fracking. I think, did we put fracking to an end? I don't remember if we put fracking to an end. Because I'm pretty sure they did by the end of the Obama admin, but they turned it back on for Trump or something maybe. I don't remember, because allegedly the fracking technology was improved now, and so they weren't hitting the water table like they were. I don't know. I know that I don't really hear about it much, including from people that were always interested in it. So forgive me if for my ignorance on that subject. I've been focused on many a thing. Hey, what's up, Miles? So I would just, I would take an inventory of anything in your life that you've needed and will continue to need that is of import, and make sure that you've had enough of that stocked up. If you hadn't had that stuff stocked up, then get what's left that's available. Especially if the prices haven't been driven up yet, and make arrangements just in case this is a long haul. I would have to imagine some of these countries it's going to be a long haul. I feel way better just about this in general. Only because, as far as I see it, the way I understand the numbers is that none of these deals screw over anybody's country. Everybody, literally everybody's country wins that wants in on this, is the idea. Right? It would be a great global economic shift. It has the fucking potential to say, listen, guys, here's the literal New Deal, a real, quote, New Deal. Where, nations are fair to each other. There's some sort of human thing going on, right? Could work. Have we properly resolved our differences? Is this all just emotional posture from people that are delusional, and we've actually theoretically figured out world peace. We just have to literally politically get it to work. You know? I mean, there aren't a tremendous amount of people that have been I don't know. It is the existential feeling about how things got to where they are in the places that we have been doing these military police actions that we call wars since World War II. It's hard to talk about, right? Because we've always, because, you know, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you know it's a duck, right? So it's a war. It is a war, right? But it's still, that context of the war matters, right? You know, the war in Iraq is we're calling it the war in Iraq, but we've already deposed, you know, it was a war when the government was run by Saddam Hussein. Then that government collapsed, and a government democratically chosen under American watch was established, and with a deal that involved us being a security apparatus to take care of what's left of Saddam Hussein's loyalists among the generals that were not destroyed in the initial invasion. You know, you get this fucking game, right? You get this whole fucking idea. And so that's a lot of what the fuck things have been, right? You know, the Korean War was like the Vietnam War, right? It was a civil war that we took a side on because we refused to recognize North Korea as a sovereign, because we were just out of World War II, and we were just turning on communism, and we were just seeing how we didn't like the way this played out, because Asian communism couldn't hide their brutal fascist tactics, where the covert fascist tactics of Slavic style communism was much easier to hide, and was not as so imminently vitriolic a conflict, right? You know, plus there was all that economic potential in the Korean Peninsula. And, you know, and Korea's a fucking new kind, you know, it's kind of a new place, right? Because we're talking about, like, remnants of the Japanese Empire, stuff that broke loose from the Empire of Japan, right? And which before that was, you know, a part of the very long, complicated history of southern China, right? So there's a whole hell of a lot going on here, right? And I'd say that I'd say you see the racial distinguishments because probably there were indigenous persons that other Asians had come and settled, and then they mixed with them, and right. And so I think there was a whole people that held an integrity for a long time on the peninsula, the Korean Peninsula, and then either the Northerners came in, like they do in Florida. So the Northerners came in, or the or the Japanese came in, And then a couple of generations go by, and voila, Korean people. And that trend continues, so on and so forth. Especially in the South. Not so much in the North. All right. I got to get to work. I'm a pinch late, and I want to take one hit. I'll catch you later.